one country has a new exit tax that you should be aware of, because I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of this. I'm going to tell you how you should be preparing with your Nomad Capitalist plan to avoid exit taxes like this one. I'm Andrew Henderson, and one European country has just rolled out a new exit tax that's a little concerning. Poland has come out and said that if you leave Poland, or if your business leaves Poland, they're going to slap you with a tax to penalize you. Now, we're going to see a lot of this coming up in future years, I think, which is why planning now is important. So for US citizens, there's been an exit tax issue for a long time. We have videos on this. If you think that giving up your US citizenship may be something you want to do in the future, there are a few different things, a couple different metrics that you should make sure you haven't hit before you do that. So if you're just starting a business and you're just starting to make money, it's worth getting your infrastructure in place to make sure that you can exit before that tax would apply to you. But what Poland is saying is something a little bit different. For everyone else in the world who's not a US citizen, who has to just leave the country rather than give up their passport in order to change their tax situation, Poland is saying, well, if you have any kind of money, we're not going to let you leave so quickly. This has been increasing, in my opinion, as more and more digital nomads, more and more global citizens come out of the woodwork. You know, it's kind of like cryptocurrency. When two guys were trading Bitcoin, no one really cared. When it became mainstream, people started to care, and tax agencies started to say, you know, let's check to make sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And what Poland is saying is they're going to tax people in two ways. They're going to say, hey, if you move your business offshore, we're going to tax you 19% of the value of most of those assets. That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. If you have a business in a country and you're going to move it overseas, there may be some kind of tax that you have to pay to get it out, because the value can't just be transferred somewhere else tax-free in many cases. But what they're really saying on a deeper level is the second step, which is if you as a person have more than 2 million zloty, the Polish currency, at the time that they introduced this, it's about 535,000 US dollars. If you have more than that amount of money and you decide to become what's called tax non-resident in Poland, we're going to hit you with the same tax. And basically, we're not going to allow you to leave the country. Now, Poland always had rather arbitrary rules for how to leave the country. It was this kind of weird system for just having an address somewhere. A lot of people took advantage of it. It wasn't really properly structured. Well, now they're coming in with proper structure and saying, if you have any kind of wealth, when you leave, we're taking part of it. So, hey, you can go and you can live in Dubai, you can go and live in Malaysia, you can live in Singapore, Panama, wherever else, and maybe you'll pay no tax on whatever else you earn going forward. But we're going to take our chunk of that money before you leave. I think as more and more people decide to live this global citizen lifestyle and realize that there are countries that don't want to tax them much or at all, and that they have the right to go and live in those countries, the places where they're coming from are going to up the ante and say, not so fast, you can't move your money. We're going to take our chunk first. This has always been an issue for US citizens, and there's a lot of planning required for US citizens who want to use these legal strategies. But now the rest of the world is really starting to see them. I talked about this in my video, The Nomad Tax Trap. Governments are going to become more and more strict. You need a better and better plan. Poland is just one example where if you're planning on making more money, exiting now is probably going to give you a better situation than waiting for them to either make the laws more strict or for higher taxes to apply to you when you have more money. So it's definitely something that you want to keep in mind. Where am I now? Where do I want to be in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? You know, if my wealth is increasing, I probably want to do some planning now to get myself to the best place. And I know that can be difficult. I know sometimes if you're just starting out, or if you're trying to scale your business very quickly, the idea of taking some money and diverting that towards this kind of legal planning, it seems like you're slowing your business down. But I can promise you that more countries are going to want to take their chunk, and it's probably better to have a residence, a corporate structure, and a banking structure in place now before it gets worse. I'm Andrew Henderson, and if you're looking for a way to legally reduce your taxes, build your freedom, and create wealth faster as a global citizen, then you've come to the right place. I want you to do 3 things right now. Number 1, click the button to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to get notifications so you never miss a new video. Number 2, get a copy of our #1 best-selling book,
Nomad Capitalist on Amazon and learn all the dozens of benefits of our lifestyle. And number 3, if you're already a 6 or 7-figure entrepreneur and you want to put these strategies in place, go to nomadcapitalist.com and find out how to get some help.